So, next one, guys. I want to go over these transfer links that's come out over the past few days and everything like that. I'm just load up. So, we've been linked with a fair few wide players, few midfielders over the past recent days, but there was one mention today by Fabrizio Romano to a centre-back. Now, this centre-back is someone that Liverpool have been mentioned with last year. They did have a chance to sign him for like 40 million or something. That was his release clause. But then he signed a new deal and his release clause went up to like 60 million. And this is Inacio at Sporting Lisbon. Now, obviously, we know about Sporting Lisbon, you know, with the whole Ruben Amorim debacle that went on with when we were looking for a new manager. But yeah, this lad, he is 22 years of age. He can play at left back, at centre back, and as a defensive midfielder. He is left-footed. His contract now expires in 2027, so he's got 3 years left on it. And it does say there that he actually signed his extension in August the 17th of last year. His stats for sorry, go on.
I thought it was 2026.
And
that's Inacio.
Yeah, it says here 2027 on transfer thing, Mark. I don't know, maybe they're on, I'm not too sure. His stats for last year in total, including all competitions, was 49 appearances, 4 goals, 1 assist. And his representatives are, we've got any links here to Liverpool? Let me have a quick look. Any sort of players here? It doesn't look like it. Doesn't seem to be anyone here that there's any sort of like connection with anything with Liverpool in the past or anything like that. So there's nothing there. But what's your thoughts on this then, guys? Do you reckon that Liverpool, I think his release clause now is around about 60 million euros. And he was mentioned in regards to Fabrizio Romano's video. It was mentioned that like United are looking for a left-sided defender and they were looking at him. And then he just also name dropped Liverpool in there, as in that they were the 2 English clubs that were looking at Inacio. So what is your thoughts on Liverpool potentially going for a 22-year-old centre-back who could potentially cost up to 60 million? Is that something you think that Liverpool should be looking at, Bri?
Yeah, that's the type of player we're looking for. He's experienced. He's won championships. He's at the right age. We've obviously done extensive scouting on him. It's not the first time we've been linked with him. I'd be happy if we can get him for £60 million. I think he could be potentially, a Van Dijk replacement.
Yeah,
he's versatile. So that's always handy for Liverpool Football Club with our injuries. I think 60 million. If we can get him £60 million with the experience he's got at that age, I'd be over the moon personally with that type of player.
Yeah. What about you, Shauna?
Well, I mean, you mentioned that like he can also play at left back as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think if he signs or if he plays at left back as well, I think he'd be fantastic. I mean, even to be a replacement for either himself, Konate, Gomez, Robertson, I think that would be a good signing. I mean, his age, young lad, plenty of potential. So yeah.
Let me have I think he's played for the national team as well. He made his debut in March of last year. 6 appearances and he's already scored 2 goals already for Portugal at the international level. So I probably would say that he's probably going to be in their Euro team. So it might be something to watch as well during the summer.
Hopefully he won't be talking to Sepp van der Berg.
They want to tie him down before the. If he has a good Euros, I think the price tag could go up, couldn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think it's release clause really. So unless he signed like a new deal and it went up again, which Sporting Lisbon, like Portuguese clubs always tend to have these pretty high release clauses in their contracts and everything like that. So yeah, maybe they do that with him. To be fair, maybe they can try and get him tied down again to another deal. What's this? This is quite funny, actually. Yeah, I do agree with this one. This is a bit off topic, but yeah. Brandon's comment there. Not Liverpool related, but I must say I laughed when I saw that. How do you pronounce his name? Is it Mariscara? Is that how you pronounce his name, the new Chelsea manager?
Mascara,
yeah, fine. We'll call him that. He's until 2029 because we're not. Yeah, that guy will be sacked by Christmas. He'll be gone. I can't, again, not to proper go off topic, but I can't believe they got rid of Pochettino. And then they came out with saying, we want a young manager to come in and build all this stuff. You had a young manager before you had Pochettino and Graham Potter. What are you playing at? Like, you don't know what you want. Like, they are the biggest laughingstock at the moment in the Premier League, apart from Man United. They really are. And that's just saying something. So, yeah. Back to Liverpool now, I guess. So we've done the Inacio. Let's move into midfield now. So I'll start off with this one player. This is something that's more of what I think may happen, like, or someone that Liverpool should look at. So there has been some little chatter about him in Argentina, back in his homeland, and it's Alan Varela, and this is a lad at Porto. He's 22 years of age. He can play as a defensive midfielder or as a central midfielder. He's valued here at 25 million euros, but there is apparently a 70 million euro release clause in his contract. So again, pretty high price to be paying for someone that Porto literally bought last year for £8 million. So, you know what I mean? He's right-footed. Last year, in all competitions, including the Champions League, he made 44 appearances, 2 goals and 3 assists. And he has represented... No, he hasn't. He's only represented Argentina up until the under-23 age level, and he made that debut in 2024. So this guy seems to be a little bit of a late bloomer, to be fair. Like, I know he's 22 years of age, but to have only made your first appearance for the Argentinian under-23s this year, that is a little bit of a late bloomer for me. Looking at his agency, there is a few people on here that Liverpool have been linked with in the past. You've got Mario Götze, you've got Timo Werner, Nicolas Sula, just to name a few people that are on this agency list here. But again, this is just chatter coming from Argentina, which is his homeland. There's nothing credible surrounding this one yet, but it's just someone who I think Liverpool would be looking at as like a D. I think Liverpool's main midfield priority for this summer is a DM, is a 6. They need someone to come in, because I just... Endo had peaks and troughs last year. He wasn't consistent enough for the full season. So I do think they need somebody to come in, and he's just a player that I've just kind of got my eye on. But I don't know if you guys heard anything about him. I'll start with you, Sean, all this time.
Well, I mean, I saw on This Is Anfield that apparently he's rumored to be at around 60 million. So I mean, I'm not 100% sure whether... I don't really know. I don't really know all that much about him, but I'm not too sure whether I would rate him at that amount. You know,
it's a bit steep, to be fair.
And for someone who's not really, he's playing under 23s or whatever. I think that would be a bit of a gamble, personally speaking.
Yeah. What about you, Bri?
No, Liverpool aren't going to spend £60 million on that guy.
Yeah, they're not.
They're not. He's got not very much experience. Liverpool are in the bracket of a £30 to £40 million. They like to get somebody that's relatively unknown, or just try to surprise somebody with a surprise. He is that type of player that Liverpool would go for. He is a bit under the radar, but I think the price tag... No, I've watched a few videos on YouTube too, and he's not that destroyer we need. We need a destroyer, we do. We need somebody who's just going to take the game by the scruff, not afraid to rough somebody up,
He looks about 40.
Yeah,
it does look older than what it says, doesn't it? It does look a lot older than what it says. I'll say that for a start. Yeah.
I just think he's not the profile. He's a DM, but I think we can do better for that type of money. But I don't think we spend 60 million on the player.
Spectre says Ederson from Atlanta for 30 million fits the profile we need.
Yeah. I'll have a look at him actually while we've got it up. Since we're talking about midfielders, I do have a couple of other ones to talk about. Let's have a look, see what it says here. Is it Edmondson, did you say?
Yeah, from Atlanta. John Henry thinks he's perfect. Is that the John W. Henry?
So this Edison from Atlanta this season, so he's valued at 30 million euros according to here. He made 53 appearances last year in total in all competitions, 7 goals, 1 assist. His contract doesn't expire for another 3 years. He's right-footed, 24 years of age, and he can play in any 3 of the central midfielder roles. So he can just play as a centre mid, he can play as a DM, or he can play as an attacking midfielder also. Let's have a look at his agency while I've got it here. Let's see if there's anything there. Because I have seen a lot of people talking about this lad in regards to Liverpool, and there doesn't seem to be anything there.
Versatility is key to what Liverpool are looking for. They're not looking for one player in one position. I think they want to play this multiple positions. You know, I think
that's a good shout.
That sounds like a Liverpool player.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
That type of.
It does sound like one that could come in, especially like you say with versatility and everything like that. I want to see what does it say. Did I say what? Yeah, I went over how many goals and everything. Did he only got 8 yellow cards as well the whole of last year? By the way, did he get any reds? No, he didn't get a single red. So. His minutes as well, like he was there available for 84% of their starting 11, and he played 84% of the minutes available to him throughout the whole season. So he was very available. But we've seen that loads of times when players come to Liverpool, they just all of a sudden just seem to get injured all the time. So he might, that curse might hit him as well. Another midfielder that I wanted to bring up that has just been mentioned in the chat. If me just see if I can find who mentioned it again.
Gary Richards.
Yeah, Gary Richards, that's the one. So he wasn't as part of this, but I've loaded up his profile. Now, again, he was a player that Liverpool was heavily linked with last summer, but he got an injury in the under-21s. I think was it the Euros last year for under-21s or something like that. He got a pretty bad injury in that, and he missed a fair bit of the season because I think he got injured again as well last year. So he does sound like a Liverpool player to start off with.
The fact that he gets injured.
Yeah. He plays for Borussia Mönchengladbach, and he only made 53% of their starting 11s and played 51% of the minutes available to him. He made 22 appearances in the league, 1 goal, 2 assists, 4 yellows, 1 red. His contract has got 2 years left on it. Again, he's very similar in the mold to that Edison. He can play centre mid, defensive mid, or attacking mid. And his agency, again, just to have a quick look, see if there's any connection with Liverpool, doesn't seem to be anything there. But again, I remember last summer when him and the next player we're going to talk about, Kefren Turam, he was they were both heavily linked with Liverpool last year. And I do think if it wasn't for that injury that Kone got last year, he may have been the player that we got instead of Endo. Because I do think the price tag for both of them was round about the same. All right there, Jamie, in the chat, guys. He's got a YouTube channel as well, just in case anyone didn't know. He's a bit bigger than me, but yeah, YouTube wise. But yeah, just go give him a follow, guys, as well, if you don't mind. Jamie's there in the chat. So yeah, the Kone lad, I don't know if he is like a Klopp player. Do you know what I mean? Now that Klopp's gone, is that link still going to be there? I don't know. Especially if you look at his stats from last year when he was hardly available, he may have fallen down the pecking order. In all fairness, I don't know. What do you guys think on that, Bri?
It's hard now because obviously Jurgen's gone. We are just guessing what type of profile player that we're going to go for now. We got a new whole backroom staff. We got a new manager. We can only go off what we've gone off for the last 9 years. I personally think his injury record's not helping him. But then you've got to look at this. Would Edwards go for him? I think if the price is right, if the wages aren't too high, if the age is right, he is versatile. I think he's an option, but I think he'd be like 3rd or 4th choice option.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be like a priority. I think he's a fallback option.
Yeah. What do you think, Shauna?
Again, it really all depends. I mean, Slot may turn around and say, I want this player, I want that player, and then the backroom staff or those who are making the decisions with regards to targets may say, well, no, you can't have him, and this is a player we have lined up. So, I mean, yeah, we've been linked with Turan, we've been linked with Kone. I don't know whether we can see any of them being targets this summer. You know, I really can't. I would go for, who was that other player we were talking about? Ederson. I think Ederson. I'd be inclined to go for him.
Yeah. Just sticking with the Turan one that we were just mentioning just a little bit then, he has popped up again on the old rumour mill. There is a little bit of stuff in this one, though, in regards to his contract. Now, again, he's not as versatile as Ederson or as Kone, we just touch on, who can play like a more attacking role. Thuram here, it says mainly plays as a defensive midfielder, but he can also play central or out on the left of midfield. Now, his contract does expire this time next year. He's got 1 year left on his deal. I think last year, if I remember rightly, he was valued at around £60 million or something daft like that. And his wage demands as well. I think he was represented by the same woman who represents Ryan Gravenberch. She took over from that Mino Raiola, who died, the super agent. I think that's what he's called, Mino Raiola. She's took over his agency basically, and I think that there was some issue surrounding his wage demands last year, and that may be why it fell apart a little bit. But his stats for last year were 29 appearances, all comps, 1 goal, 1 assist, which doesn't sound terrific, but he is available, according to reports, for about maximum £20 million this summer. I have seen reports at like 15, 17 million as well. Half a mellow. But yeah, what do you think about Thuram? Like, I've got a few other things I can go through if you need a bit more background on him. But like, again, it's another one of them which I've just mentioned. Is this a player that is being linked with us again because of the past links? And was this like a Klopp player? Do you know? It says here that though he's capable of playing a holding 6 role, the Frenchman is better known for operating in a slightly more advanced position. So again, he seems to be. He might have that versatility that, as you were saying earlier, Bri, that Liverpool seem to go for. He has been linked with Juve a fair bit as well. And these reports that have come out recently are coming from Italy in regards to Liverpool's interest in him, and he has been kind of dubbed as the next Patrick Vieira. So that's enough of me talking about him. What about you guys? What do you think, Shano?
I just want to know why Brian has gone upside down. It's all well and good, like, all these players and whatever, but then it goes down to their wages and what they're demanding. Spectre came up with a very good point there. Gary Richards as well. Liverpool could have got Kone Thuram for 80 million. Again, why haven't we got them then? And it could be down to the salary that they're. And I think Thuram was looking for a ludicrous amount of money from what I can gather. Although my memory's not all that great, but. I don't really know, guys, if I'm honest with you. It's a bit of a, like, someone had said Gravenberch can play number 6. I think Gary Richards said that as well. I don't know, guys.
Yeah.
What about you, Bri?
Yeah, Liverpool could do a Minamino job on him, couldn't they? They could sign him for £12 million, give him half a season and flip him for 30. Something Liverpool would do. But I'm trying to think. What's the last midfield that we signed from France that was any good for us? His stats aren't very good in France. He's young, He's got potential, but that's all he's got. He's not showing anything. to stand out. I think it's just more the price tag,
Yeah, I think he's. I don't think he's made that many appearances for the French national team either. I do think he's in the Euro squad for this year, but again, like you say, it's a different kettle of fish over here. And he's, like, I think, as you just said then as well, like his stats aren't that great over in the French league. So is it going to get any better over here? Like, I don't know. But yeah, I guess I've left the best to last, though, in my opinion, which is Youssouf Fofana. Now, stat wise, this guy is the best defensive midfielder in the French league, which, doesn't go saying much. Like, it doesn't take much to probably the best defensive midfielder over there. But again, he's in a similar situation to Thuram. His contract does expire next year. He is predominantly a defensive midfielder or essential mid. He's a little bit older than the other ones as well. So he's 25 years of age. Last year, he made 35 appearances, 4 goals and 4 assists from a predominantly 6 position. He's made 17 appearances for the French national team and scored 3 times. His minutes for last year, so like his availability, he made 91% of the starting 11s. And of the games that he played 88% of the minutes. And he has a goal participation percentage of 12%, which I think is pretty high for a defensive midfielder. And I think as well, he was like one of the best defensive midfielders he may have been in like the top 15, maybe top 10 in Europe or something like that. And I just think with his contract expiring, he's valued here at 30 million euros on transfer market. I reckon you could get this lad for about 20 million. If there's not like a massive bidding war for him. I think he's been heavily linked with Arsenal as well. And there was a report that came out over the past few days where Fabregas actually urged Fofana to go and play for Jurgen Klopp in 2022. There's some quotes here where Fabregas goes on to say, when I came, Thierry Henry also asked me to help grow the young people when Fabregas went to Monaco to play. And he said that it was an important point. Today, I feel like I won the respect and sympathy of this younger generation. I hope I have helped. We like each other. I will continue to follow them and exchange with them. I would like to see Fofana and then a couple of other players at Bayern Munich or Liverpool. And then there's also stuff here that basically says that Eric Ten Hag was believed to be an admirer for Fofana and even tried to sign him for Manchester United last year. However, the sporting director of Monaco claimed that the midfielder rejected Man United last year. The quotes are that he deserves most of the credit. Fofana believes in our project and made the decision to stay longer at Monaco to continue his development. He has big ambitions with the French team and Monaco also. So it says here that 1 year after snubbing Man United, it's understood that he's valued at around £20 million with his contract expiring. So again, I've saved the best to last, in my opinion. I believe that this lad is the lad that God, something stuck in my throat. I think that this lad is the lad that Liverpool should go for in a defensive 6 position, is Youssouf Fofana. I don't know how much of that you heard, Shauno, so I'll go to Bri first. Do you think that for 20 million quid that Youssouf Fofana is someone that Liverpool should go for?
Definitely the type of player we need. 100%. He can take us on to the next level. I think his age is a little bit against him, but I think he's still within touching distance for us. My only thing about him is Liverpool won't get into a bidding war. They're going to offer a certain amount of wages, and it's up to the player whether he gets better offers. I think he's going to have his choice of clubs this year. I think that's the type of player I want us to sign. Liverpool need to keep our standards. Those are the standards we need. We should be going there for the best, and he's one of them. That's what we should be going for, and I hope we go for.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Shauna?
I don't know much about about this player, if I'm honest with you. So look, I mean, anything that is, I suppose, cheap and cheerful, FSG will be interested in. But I mean, if he is off, how old is he?
He's 25. Just to give you a bit more of a background, because I don't know how much you missed of it because I couldn't see you because I was on a different page. Last year, he made 35 appearances, 4 goals, 4 assists from a predominantly defensive midfielder position. He's got a year left on his deal. He made 91% of the starting 11s last year. He completed 88% of the minutes for last year, and he had a 12% goal participation as well from like a defensive 6 position. And stat-wise, as I started this one off talking about him, stat-wise, he was the best defensive midfielder in the French league last year.
Well, I mean, you've second sold it to me there then. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, as Brian says, maybe his age is slightly going against him. I think you're probably not going to get. It's kind of like you know, trying to get a house in Ireland. Like the asking price could be 500,000 and end up being 750, going for 750,000. So you just don't know. I mean, it more than likely end up in a bit more in which probably Liverpool and FSG won't play.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is kind of not a part of this, but there was that them stats that came out the other day that Liverpool were was it the 3rd or the 4th highest for paying agent fees last season, and the people above us beat us by like a considerable amount of money. Like I think Chelsea or Man United, or it was one of them. It was either Chelsea, United, or City, like doubled us. So you've got to think I think that may have had some sort of influence over the whole Caicedo thing, which I think 115 million. I think John Henry shit himself, and that's why he came over to England. Like, what the hell's going on? But I do think at the same time, another reason potential why that deal didn't happen is because the money that was probably offered to the agent was more than what Liverpool were willing to pay. But that's by the by, I guess now, you know. And he didn't really set the whole world on fire, did he? At Chelsea last year. So, guys, we've only got 3 more players to touch on right now in this bit, and it's the wide players now. So we'll start off with this one first, because again, I've gone back and forth on this one because his stats to me don't scream out as someone who could be a Liverpool player, but at the same time, I have seen some other stuff about it where he hardly gives the ball away. He's a workhorse. He always presses. He does this, that, and the other. And I'm talking about Brian Mbeumo, if that's how you pronounce his name. Sorry, at Brentford. Now,
Kinder Bueno.
Yeah. What did you say? Sorry, Kinder Bueno.
Kinder Bueno. Yeah, that's what I thought.
And there's me just agreeing with me, like, yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
So, what I mean by stats, guys, is he's never had a season where he scored double-digit goals. Last year in the Premier League and the EFL Cup, he made 27 appearances, 9 goals, and 6 assists for Brentford. He's a right winger. He's left-footed. He can play a second striker, or he can play down the middle just by himself. He is 24 years of age, and his contract technically expires 2026, but there is a club option for a further year, which takes it to 2027. On here, it says that his current market value is 40 million euros. And at the international stage for Cameroon, so again, you'd have that AFCON thing there as well with this.
Yeah, right.
He's made 11 appearances and 2 goals. What do you think? For me, he seems a little bit underwhelming to me, does that? I think, as Gareth says there, the £50 million asking price for someone with stats like that, I can't see that happening. But I'll come to you, Brian, on this one first. What do you think? Would you take him at Liverpool?
No, wouldn't have him. Wouldn't even grace the training ground. He's just one of these. He's an FSG signing. He sounds like an FSG signing.
Yeah.
Cheerful. No, he's not the standard of player we need. You know,
No.
we need better. We need the Manes of this world. We need the Salahs of this world. That's the standard, and that's what I want. I don't want somebody from Brentford. Do you know what I mean? This never made double digits. No, I don't want it. Not for me.
What about you, Sean? I can see you shaking your head.
Like the fact that we're linked with a player from Brentford, for fuck's sake, sorry, like, honest to God, like, I mean, okay, I know that we raided Southampton, you know, with the likes of Van Dijk and the likes of Sadio Mane, and that's grand, that's fine. But this is Brentford, for feck's sake. Like, since 2000, he's been there since 2019. He's made 184 appearances and 45 goals. I mean, it's hardly something that you pay 50 cent for. I mean, 50 million for that. You'd expect, you know, as you said, double digits, and for him to be, you know, on everyone's radar. But he's certainly not on my radar. I mean, at 24 years of age, he's played for the French youth. I mean, no. Just no. And
nah, again, I won't take him at Liverpool. When I saw the links and everything, it was basically just him saying that he wanted to take his career to the next level and play for a higher level club and everything like that. And I'm just like, do it at Brentford, mate.
Exactly. If you want to play at a higher level, play at a better level for the current team that you're with, so that then you have something to say, well, look what I'm doing at Brentford, and they're a crap team, and then come for me, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we'll leave that one there with him. Like, you know, it doesn't seem to be one that we go for. Next, guys, I think we'll touch on the Leeds winner, Somerville. Now, he is 22 years of age. Again, he can play either on the left or the right wing. He is right-footed. His contract expires in 2026, which, you know, I would probably think, oh, maybe he's, you know, there's a bit of stuff there that's like, is it going to cost a fair bit to get him? However, Leeds obviously didn't get promoted to the Premier League, and there is the word going around that Leeds have to raise 100 million to basically, if you do financial fair play. He was the Championship Player of the Year last season, but, you know, Liverpool have been down that road before with Fabio Carvalho. Again, Liverpool scouts have been watching him for a fair bit. To be fair, I can see him on the list of people to watch. Last year, in the Championship, FA Cup, and everything else, total appearances 49, 21 goals, 10 assists. He has played 8 times for the Dutch under-21s and scored twice. His agency as well, guys, is one that Liverpool does have a good working relationship with. It's that Wasserman one. There's players on here that Liverpool have got on the books, like Curtis Jones, Joe Gomez, and there's players that Liverpool have been linked with for like a long time now, like that Antonio Robinson at Fulham, the left back, he's on here. Max Kilman at Wolves, Liverpool have been linked with him. Harvey Barnes, Lutschral Gertrude, the centre back from Feyenoord, who was at the West Ham game when Arne Slot was first announced as like taking over. He's on their books. Nathan Ake, and then that other player that seems to be linked Liverpool all the time recently is that Coop Miners, the midfielder from Atalanta. Now, again, I get that he's from the Championship, and I get that Liverpool have been stung with someone similar to this, as in, you know, the Fabio Carvalho stuff. I think this kid's pretty decent, to be fair. He looked all right. He didn't play that well in the playoff final, I will say that, but I do agree with one of the commentators on that, where it looked like a few of the Leeds players were trying to save themselves for a transfer this year, basically. But yeah, Bri, what do you think? Is Somerville someone that you could potentially look at taking?
Nope. His stats are impressive for a Championship player, but it's still a Championship.
Yeah.
We've got some of the best, or had some of the best wingers. We're going for Champions League, Premier League. They can't qualify from a Championship. He's got potential, but then the price tag, there's going to be a lot of players after him. To me, I'd rather, I don't know. He doesn't impress me whatsoever. That's not the standards we need to push on. Mm-hmm. He's not better than Diaz. He's not better than Salah. Not that you find many better than them, but, you know, personally, for me, no, I don't like it. I don't want a championship player. I want, a player that's played Champions League, scored goals at the highest level. I don't want somebody from a championship.
Yeah, I get that. I can get that point. What about you, Shano?
This guy's Dutch, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think that's probably the only thing for going for him. I can't see. I can't understand why Liverpool would be linked with a championship player. I really can't. I mean, if they're looking for potential, that's fine. But there comes a stage where, okay, we've got young players, in the squad. They're good potential, but I just can't see it. I can't see it. I mean, he's a good player. He looks to be a good player. He was with Feyenoord from 2018-20, made no appearances from them. And then he did a few loan deals before going to Leeds. That sounds all grand, but you need someone that can hit the ground running. I really think that you're taking a gamble with these young players. I could see him, if we got him, we'd probably put him out on loan, and he'd be whinging like fucking Vandenberg, So I can't make sense of it, really. I don't think that's a good buy. I think if majority of Liverpool fans would be like, here, come on.
Yeah. So I guess I don't know how this next one's going to go down with Perry either then. So the last one that's been linked with Liverpool on and off recently as well is Johan Bakayoko from PSV. Again, he plays in Holland. He is a Belgian player. He plays out on the right wing. He is left-footed. Again, 2 years left on his contract. I guess there's a plus here for you, Bri. Like, he's got some Champions League experience this year. He's got 48 games this year, 14 goals, 14 assists. And for the Belgium national team, he has played 11 times with 1 goal. And he made 85% of the starting 11s, completed 82% of the minutes, and had 19 goal participation for PSV's goals last year. And I do think as well that PSV went on to win the league last year. I might be wrong there, but yeah, I think that is the case with him. And he is the only player on the agency that represents him. And his current market value at the moment is 45 million euros. So there is this little bit here on the Football Insiders podcast where a senior correspondent, and you take that as you want, basically revealed that Bakayoko had been on Liverpool's radar for a while now, and that there is a belief they could secure his signature for a decent fee. What that is, I don't know. But for me, in all fairness, I think that if Liverpool want to get this kid over the line, they have to get it done before the Euros kick off, just in case he has an absolute blinder at the Euros and his price tag rises by like 20 million or something daft like that. But yeah, what about you guys? What do you think on Bakayoko? I'll come to you, Sean, first on this one.
Well, what's the chances of us signing anything before the Euros? I don't think that's... No. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, and certainly with the way we do business. What's his market value again?
45 million euros. So about 40 million quid. 40 million quid.
Yeah. And what age is he?
21, I think. 22. Let me load it up again. Yeah, I think he's like 21, 22.
I don't know. I don't really know.
21 years of age.
I mean, Spectre is saying that he was close to joining Brentford on deadline day last summer for 40 million, but turned it down without reason. I don't know what that really... He turns down Brentford. I don't know. Yeah, I've no real opinion on it, to be honest with you. Underwhelmed.
What about you, Bri?
It's a vast improvement from the last guy we was talking about. He's got Champions League experience. He's into double digits. He scores goals. He's won things. He's won leagues. He's young. He's the type of profile we're looking for. He's in the price range we're looking for. Arnie Slot's worked with him, so we'd know how to get the best out of him. I think out of all the wingers we've been linked with, I think he's not the standard we need, but we've got to start somewhere. And I think out of all the ones we've talked about, I think he's got the most potential. It makes the most sense. And once again, Arnie Slot's worked with him, so he knows the exact type of player he's getting. You know.
So. I guess the question is, do you come to the end of like the wide players, and they all seem to have like a very similar age profile? Do you reckon that's an age profile Liverpool should be going for? Do you reckon they should go for someone a little bit older, a bit more experienced, maybe like a 25-year-old, like for Fofana? What do you think, Bri?
I think 22, 23, 24 is the age we should be. I think that's the age that Liverpool are going for, or that's the age we should be going for, because they've gone from prospects and into, they got the experience. They should have the experience, but then they should have, picked up the goal scoring sense by then. We've got them. It's just before their peak. I think we're looking for just before their peak. Yeah, like to me, those three players you mentioned, it would be Bakayoko, Somerville, and then the other guy at Brentford. Perhaps those are the three that's on the list that they're looking for. And
apparently, sorry, Brian. Apparently, Arsenal and Bayern Munich are looking for the same guy.
The Bakayoko.
Well,
it must be maybe something there then. I don't know. Like, I like the look of him. I think he's got the pace to be able to be. Like, I think Spectre said it here. It could be like a Mo Salah. Where's it gone? Someone said that he's really fast. There you go. Spectre, yeah. Belgium national, fast as hell, would be a perfect Salah long-term replacement. But yeah, again, he is the best out of the three that's been mentioned so far, I would say. But we know what Liverpool's like lately. Liverpool just seem to be able to go for a guy we've never even heard of and just pull him out of the bag. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people we've just spoke about today, probably Liverpool won't even get any of them. It'd be someone else that we've never even heard of. Gary Richardson here. Sign him as soon as possible. 10 years of Bakayoko is exciting. But yeah, any last words on the transfer links, guys? What's your thoughts and opinions so far on the names that have been linked? I know it's very early days. I know that everyone's only just started, but what do you think on what's been coming out so far? I'll go with you, Bri.
That Bakayoko reminds you of a Doku, is it? A City. He's the same type of player, I think, and he's fast, can finish. It's very underwhelming, I think, the players we've been linked with at the start of the season. I suppose, obviously, as the summer goes on, more and more is going to come out. Like you said, though, Liverpool are probably in talks with somebody we haven't even mentioned yet. They'll pop up tomorrow. Liverpool have agreed terms with somebody, But it's very underwhelming, the players we've been linked with.
What about you, Shona?
Well, apparently we were linked with Chimene because he was on X and someone said that they liked his boots. And he was a Liverpool supporter, and he says, "I'll send you my boots." So it just goes to show that, something as silly as that, and we're all of a sudden linked with these players. So I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of in two minds, really, to know what to really think. I have a fair idea of what positions I'd like to see strengthening. But it really all depends on the transfer kitty, and I suppose what Slot's involvement is, whether he can say, well, this is what I want, these are the players that I want, what sort of control does he have, and from what I can gather, he doesn't. So I suppose what's out there on social media and media in general, these players may not be linked with us at all, so it's hard to know.
I guess just to finish this off then, why don't we just talk about the positions we think Liverpool should be looking at this summer? So, Bri, what would you say are the two positions? Let's just go with the top two to start with. Like the top two positions Liverpool should be looking at strengthening this year.
Centre back and a defensive midfielder. Personally, I'd even name the players that I would like.
Yeah, go on then. Go.
I'd like Ignacio for Sporting, and I'd like Douglas Luiz from Aston Villa. Those are the two players I would like. I think that would vastly improve Liverpool Football Club.
What about you, Shona?
I think Ignacio, on the basis that he's versatile and he can play centre back and left back. I think we definitely need a centre back and left back. So we're kind of getting two positions with one player. I'm not too sure about defensive midfielder. I think if I had a choice, Liverpool tend not to kind of buy too much during any window. Well, up until last summer. So I mean, if I had a choice between two positions, I would go for centre back and striker.
So we've had centre back and a DM from Spectre. Martin's put, is that a left back and a centre back? And then we'll do this last question before we go on to the last segment of the stream. Spectre's asked, if we had 150 million to spend, who would be our signings this summer? Your choice. So, Brian, come back to you. I know you've already mentioned Ignacio and Douglas Luiz. Do you reckon there's anybody else that you could probably fit in with 150 million on there?
I think Douglas Luiz is going to cost 50 million. Ignacio is going to cost 60 million, so it leaves me with 40. We could maybe get that boy from Aston Villa that's up front. I can't remember him, the English boy.
Ollie Watkins.
If they do us a favour, like with 40 million, I think he's more of a natural finisher. He's Premier League proven. He can play the Darwin Núñez role. He's English, homegrown.
By you, Sean, 150 million.
I'd be inclined to agree with Brian there.
Yeah. Cool. I reckon I'd go with Ignacio, as you just said. DM wise, I'm gonna go on this Fofana train. I think I'd take him at 20 million or something like that. Which leaves me a fair bit of money then to go out, and I don't know, I like Ollie Watkins, but I'm just wondering if there's anybody else out there that'd be better to come in as a number 9 for Liverpool right now. I can't think, there's not many number 9s out there, to be fair. I think that's why there's like a premium on the price that people are paying from, like that Højlund that Man United paid. Like they paid a hell of a lot of money for him, and he hasn't really done much.
What about that guy at Southampton? That striker that Arsenal linked with.
Is it Armstrong?
No.
Armstrong.
Didn't he get banned for betting?
Oh, from Brentford, Ivan Toney.
Yeah, that's from Brentford, Ivan Toney.
Yeah, he might be. He's a Liverpool fan as well, so he'd play for Badge, wouldn't he? So, yeah, good shout. Let's have a look at whatever people have been saying here. So we've got a 6 and a backup keeper. We got Kelleher, might be going. Defender, midfielder, and an attacker. Striker, centre back, a DM, and a left back. Jacob Ramsey from Aston Villa. Gary Richardson's put out there. Gareth again, Ignacio, Robinson. I'm guessing that's Robinson from Fulham, the left back. Jimenez and Fofana. And then 100 million. Is that confirmed how much they'd want for him? 100 million? I think he's only got a year left on his deal, hasn't he, or something as well. That's bonkers, that.